A creature born from ancient legends, capable of regenerating its heart, spine and even its brain. Cute, magical and almost extinct. Today we discover why the axolotl is one of the most fascinating animals on Earth. 1. The legend of Xólotl and the mythical origin. 2. What makes the axolotl magical, breathing and neoteny. 3. Duma copyright real as surprising discovery. 4. Powers of regeneration. 5. The genetic secret of the axolotl. 6. Color, reproduction and extinction threats. 7. Conservation programs in Xochimilco. 8. The Unam Chinampa Refugio Project. 9. Final reflection on conservation. Legend has it that after 4 suns created and destroyed, the gods met to create a 5th Sunday. The god Nanahuatzin sacrificed himself to be the new sun. But the days passed and the new sun did not move. The worried gods sacrificed themselves. But the god Xólotl, who is the dog god of monstrosities and the dark twin of Quetzalcoatl, refused to sacrifice himself and fled. Xólotl was an excellent sorcerer and turned into a double corn to hide, but the gods found him. He fled again and transformed into a double maguey, and when they found him again he jumped into the water and became an axolotl, and Quetzalcoatl still found him. Bah! Say what you want, Xólotl got his way. Just look at how happy and cute the axolotls look. That's why today we ask ourselves, what magical thing are axolotls? Just looking at it, the Ambystoma mexicanum already looks quite magical. It seems that plume is the envy of Quetzalcoatl. It's actually their gills that they use to breathe, but that's not magical enough for axolotls because they can also breathe through their skin, oropharyngeally, or they can swallow air through their mouth and take it into their lungs. And those gills hide another power. In 1863 the zoologist Auguste Duma copyright received 6 axolotls for study. He thought that he had been given larvae of some species of salamander, but one day he saw that his only female axolotl, who according to him was not yet an adult, had laid eggs. How was it possible? Axolotls are of the order of salamanders and newts. These animals usually have external gills when they live in water and lose them when they reach sexual maturity and leave the water. Axolotls, which are quite adapted to water and apparently do not want to leave it, even when they mature sexually, retain their external gills and other neotenous characteristics such as underdeveloped teeth, a dorsal fin that runs almost the entire body, eyelidless eyes that look at you tenderly and a big head like a baby. Undefined retaining neotenic characteristics in an adult state is known as pedomorphosis. In axolotls, preserving their neotenic characteristics in addition to making them extremely cute allows them to live an average of 6 years in the wild and 10 in captivity. On rare occasions they metamorphose completely and live only 1 or 2 more years. It was also Auguste Duma copyright who received a second surprise when some of his laboratory-born axolotls transformed into adult salamanders. Although Auguste never discovered the mystery, today we know that, in axolotls, the pituitary gland does not produce the hormone thyrotrophin that regulates complete metamorphosis, but under conditions of stress it can be produced. In his attempt to understand why some of his axolotls were no longer smiling larvae, but adult salamanders, Duma copyright began to gradually cut off their gills. For the 3rd time this water monster surprised him, they began to regenerate them. The axolotl has an impressive tissue regeneration capacity. It can regenerate almost any part of its body, including its spine, retina, heart, who would be an axolotl to survive heartbreak, and up to 40% of its brain. It can also accept organs and limbs from other axolotls without risk of rejection. Of course, most animals have regenerative capabilities. Hydras can regenerate from a couple of cells and octopuses can grow their tentacles, but vertebrates have a much smaller regenerative capacity. We can regenerate a part of our liver, but we cannot grow a leg at will. This is not the case of the powerful axolotl. What is its secret? In 2018, its genome was sequenced and a sequence of 32 billion base pairs was obtained, while the human genome only has about 3 billion base pairs, or about 10 times less. but despite the difference in size, the genes are similar and we encode almost the same number of proteins. What changes is the way in which genetic expression is regulated. So could we regenerate our limbs and organs? Some scientists believe so. It has been seen that in axolotls macrophages and transforming growth factor beta are essential in regeneration, and both are present in humans. It has also been seen that it is possible for us to regenerate parts of our finger as long as there is enough nail epithelium left. So, although half lost, we have the ability to regenerate and scientists hope to revive it. Wait, that ability to regenerate ourselves sounds very nice, but couldn't it cause uncontrollable growth and cause cancer? Well, it turns out that axolotls are also quite resistant to cancer. For these reasons the axolotl is so precious as a study animal. Furthermore, axolotls reproduce very easily in the laboratory. In fact, albino axolotls are mainly bred in laboratories. That pigmentation, or rather that absence of pigmentation, would make them extremely visible in their natural habitat. Its color in nature is black, brown or olive green to blend in with the background. They also have a certain ability to alter their color to better camouflage themselves. The problem is that, although axolotls reproduce very well in the laboratory, the vast majority of axolotls come from those 6 axolotls from Duma copyright Rill. This has caused inbreeding problems and they have already had to hybridize with their close relatives, the tiger salamander. Why not just combine laboratory axolotls with wild axolotls? And boom! Axolotl babies everywhere. That would have been a breeze in 1998 when there were 6,000 axolotls per square kilometer in the canals of Xochimilco, where it is endemic, but today it is believed that only between 50 and 1,000 axolotls remain in the wild. One of the main causes of the reduction of axolotls has been the diversion of water from springs for human consumption. With this, the lake complex has lost 98% of its initial surface, in addition to its contamination by the discharge of sewage. Other important causes have been the illegal sale of pets, food or medicines without scientific evidence, the introduction of invasive species, such as tilapia and carp, which not only compete for food with axolotls, but also eat axolotl eggs, water pollution due to the use of fertilizers and pesticides, and intense recreational tourism have almost completely extinct this magical animal. Nowadays, different programs are carried out to recover the axolotls, from restoring the Xochimilco Lake through the recovery of the tradition of agriculture by chinampas that do not require fertilizers or pesticides and that also serve as a refuge for the axolotls and water sanitation, to the reproduction of axolotls in captivity for their subsequent release in semi-artificial wetlands. In the Ecological Restoration Laboratory of the UNAM Biology Institute we have the Chinampa Refugio project. The objective of the project is to improve water quality for the axolotl. Chinampa Refugio seeks to produce vegetables and medicinal plants in an ecological way and on the other hand create refuges for biodiversity. Shelters are created by making channels inside the chinampas. At the ends of the canals there are biofilters of native aquatic plants. Biofilters prevent the passage of contaminants and heavy metals and prevent the passage of introduced predators of the axolotl. It has been shown that by improving water quality in refuges, axolotls can develop their life cycle naturally in their natural habitat. We have seen that each refuge can house 200 to 300 axolotls, and to continue with the recovery of the species and its habitat we have created a campaign called Adopt Axolotl, where you can adopt an axolotl or a chinampa refuge to be able to continue doing scientific research and cover the maintenance costs. As of today, there are 40 reactivated chinampas, 36 refuges and 71 biofilters, which is equivalent to 5 linear kilometers of rehabilitated canals. With your support we can continue working on the conservation of both the axolotl and Xochimilco. Of course, Ambystoma mexicanum is not the only species that remains young forever. In Mexico there are 16 other species that retain their neotenic state, but they are also restricted to a specific habitat and have been affected by human activity, and their conservation status is critical. So let's take care of our bodies of water so we can continue having the magical axolotls for much longer. Curiously, we thank the UNAM Ecological Restoration Laboratory for its participation in this video. To adopt a beautiful little Axolotl, just go to give this video lots of love and share it with everyone. The Axolotl is a living legend, a magical creature that science is still trying to understand. What impressed you the most, its ability to regenerate, its eternal youth, or its mythological origin? Tell us in the comments, share this video with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to Feral Fables to keep discovering the most amazing creatures of the natural world.